To order, please. I'd like to, the Lancaster County Wetland Board, I'd like to introduce our staff. Oh, boy, Crystal's not here. Wait,
She just had to step out. You can keep going.
I can go.
Yeah.
Well, to my left over here, over there is Crystal Way. Next to her is Glenn Rowe and Olivia Hall. And of course, Ms. Harris and Mr. Reams.
Yes, ma'am.
And to my left over here is Will Tolles, Cecil Little, Hunter Slid, Andy Ransom, and I'm Edna Revere. With that said, I'd like to call the first applicant, please. First on the agenda is John Paxton. Is someone here representing him?
Yes, ma'am. Joseph Scott, Solterra Solutions, P.O. Box 1744, Kilmarnock, Virginia, 22482. I'm the agent for the applicant.
I'd like to read the ad, please. John Paxton, in care of Solterra Solutions, LLC, is requesting permission to install 225 linear feet of riprap revetment and install 46 linear feet of stone sill with 60 cubic yards of sand nourishment and 300 square feet of wetland vegetation plantings along the eroding shoreline of Mile Creek, located off 604 Island Ferry Road on Oak Hill Road, tax map number 26-16A, VMRC number 25-0191. Go ahead.
Yes, so this is a combination of a little bit of a living shoreline and a revetment from some portions of this property that are eroding. We proposed a revetment up in that little cove that's there. We think that was probably man-made at some point a long time ago. It's kind of falls off, gets kind of deep in there, so they're putting some stone up against the base of that. And then along the end, adjacent to the neighbor, just put a small revetment there as well because they don't want to have to go into that woods and make any sort of alterations or anything like that, just something to kind of tie it off. And then the area where they currently have access, they've got a little bit of erosion happening on the bank. So what they're going to do is build gapped sill offshore and backfill that with sand and do some plantings and grading along the area where the beach kind of meets the yard there so that they can continue to use that for access, but it won't be quite as an issue with the erosion because it's a pretty sandy bank up in there that continues to wash away. I couldn't get to the site visits because I was out of here in Middlesex, so I guess if y'all have any questions for me.
You have anything, well, wait a minute. Does the board have anything that they wish to add to this?
Well, just say that we're glad you incorporated some aspects of the living shoreline in this plan.
Thanks. Okay, it lent itself to it pretty easily, so that was good. Those are always nice when they fit.
And you're going to save as much of this salt brush and vegetation as you can around the little pond.
So yeah, they can stay landward of all of that in terms of getting up behind it.
Yeah.
That one side, I guess it is to the southwest there, in section B, has a little bit better slope. It's not as defined as the rest of them where it kind of falls off. So up in there, they'll have to tuck it in a little tighter to get behind that stuff, but that's really not going to be a problem.
Anyone else have any? Olivia, do you have any?
No, ma'am. Our site visit showed evidence of erosion. So that combined with the living shoreline element, I think we don't have any issue from staff on approval.
So you have all the information you need?
Yes, ma'am.
How about the BMRC board? Do you have anything you'd like to add?
It just looks like a well-designed project and.
I'm sorry.
It looks like a well-designed project.
Thank you. Anyone in the audience wish to speak to this? If not, I'll let. Did I see a hand? Oh, okay. If not, then I'll entertain a motion, please.
Yeah, I move to approve the permit as submitted.
I'll second.
All in favor, signify by, okay, 5-0.
Thanks.
Oh. The next on the agenda is Kendall Stoneham. Someone here representing her?
Yes, ma'am. Joseph Scott, Solterra Solutions, PO Box 1744, Kilmarnock, Virginia 22482, agent for the applicant.
You finished?
Oh, yeah? Well, I mean,
I'd like to read the ad, please. Kendall Stoneham and Kara Salter Solutions LLC is requesting permission to install 50 linear feet of riprap revetment against the failing bulkhead and the eroded bank of the Rappahannock River located off Virginia State Highway 711, Old Airport Road, on Westwood Road, tax map number 13-72, BMRC number 25-0243. Go ahead.
yes, so this project's on the Rappahannock River, and a portion of that bulkhead is failing. If you were at the site, you probably saw a couple of spots up at the top where it's starting to, there you go, there it's starting to wash out there. So what they're going to do is extend the armor stone off the corner of that, bring it back to the end of the existing bulkhead, and then run it, I think it's an additional like 10 feet up onto the upland with the removal of that tree stump and all that sort of stuff to secure that little end piece there.
Finished?
Yep.
Anyone on the board wish to add anything to this?
I don't have a problem.
No? Olivia?
No, ma'am. The staff found the application to be complete for consideration.
BMRC?
This also looks like a well-designed project for the bulkhead to remain in place.
Thank you. No, is anyone in the audience wish to speak to this? If not, I'll entertain a motion, please.
I move that this project be approved as presented.
Second, please.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor? Thank you.
Thanks.
Next on the agenda is Lyle Beckworth. Someone here representing him?
Good morning. Sherry McDearman with Macbros LLC, the agent on this project.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Sherry McDearman,
Okay.
388 Scoggins Creek Trail, Hartfield, Virginia.
Sometimes this, I'd like to, wait a minute here. No, pardon me just a minute. I'd like to read the ad, please. Lyle Beckwith and Kia Brian McDermott is requesting permission to install 33 linear feet of riprap revetment along the eroded shoreline of Deep Creek, located off Deep Creek Road, which is off Virginia State Highway 354 River Road on Meadowbrook Lane, tax map number 13-35H, VMRC number 25-0220. Go ahead.
Sounds good. So what we're proposing is putting a small revetment up against the already vegetated shoreline to protect from further erosion. And you can see from the pictures that there's, on each side of the pier, the left side, there's, the picture on the left there, or the bottom left, there's wetland grasses, and then there is vegetation. It's going to go right between that. So it's not going to, they're going to do everything that they can to not disturb the vegetation. And that's on the left, if you're facing the pier, it's on the right side. On the left side, that's where there's the revetment right there would help with that erosion right there. And we sent in a picture recently of where a tree has fallen, not on his property, but on the property next door onto the pier. So it's showing where that erosion has already, started. If you, I guess if you visited the site, then you would see that. And please let me know if you have any questions.
Anyone on the board wish to add anything or comments or whatever to this?
No comment.
Olivia,
Staff has no comment.
everything's to your satisfaction, okay? VMRC?
We're just pleased that agent and design is avoiding the impacts to wetland grasses.
Well, anyone in the audience? No? Well, no further comments. I'll entertain a motion, please.
I'll move to accept the application as submitted.
Second, please.
Second.
Second. All in favor? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is David and Julie. Is it Lundberg? Lundberg? Oh. Am I saying it correctly?
Good morning, Craig Palavinsky with Bay Shore Design LLC, 8518 Copel Highway, Hague, Virginia, 22469. I'm the agent representing this request.
Okay, I'll read the ad, please. David and Julie, I hope I'm saying his name right. Lundberg. Here, Bay Shore Design is requesting permission to construct a 70-foot almost stone spur adjacent to the eroding sandbar along the shoreline of Little Bay and install 70 linear feet of almost stone steel with 15 cubic yards of sand nourishment and 375 square feet of vegetative plantings adjacent to eroding bank and marsh along the shoreline of Fleets Bay, located off Chesapeake Trail, which is off Virginia State Highway 645 Dungeon Thicket Road on Sea Haven Drive, tax map number 35-122A, VMRC number 25-0260. Go ahead.
Okay, what we have here is two parts to this project. The first, we're proposing a 70-foot armor stone sill with 15 cubic yards of beach nourishment and 375 square feet of wetlands vegetation plantings. If you're looking at the site plan drawing that's up on the screen, that's the area highlighted in pink. That's the riprap Armorstone sill. It's a pretty exposed shoreline there. We got a pretty significant fetch to the east, right across Chesapeake Bay, about 24 miles. And then it's about 1.5 miles to the south, right across the Foxwell. So we get a pretty good bit of water coming in there. This sill would qualify for a general permit, but we had to make it a bit higher to deal with the wave climate at this site. So that's what would disqualify it from the general permit, because we are making it plus 3 foot mean low water elevation, which is about a little more than 1.5 foot above mean high water. There's some pockets you can see at the end of the revetment when we looked at the site. It's getting flanked around the end of that revetment. That's where the sill is going to tie into. The bank cavity there will be backfilled with most of the beach nourishment and planted with a mix of Spartina patens and alternative flora on the lower zone. The second part of the project is we're proposing a 70-foot Armorstone spur, heading southeastward. That point of land, or that sandbar that's designated on my drawings, they used to extend much further out. It was actually a marsh island, or let's say a peninsula. It extended out as far as you can see the limits of the SAV mapping. That's from VIMS. It used to extend out to that point, and the bar was much further, I would say, to the southeast, so much, from where the proposed sill is going. So what we're proposing with the spur here is going to be the same design as the sill, same height, plus 3 feet, Armorstone. It's going to be freestanding. We're trying to stabilize that sandbar. It's continuing to migrate up in that cove, and they're losing it. So we want to stabilize that bar, keep it from further migrating, and try to preserve the sandbar. So that's pretty much all I have. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Anyone on the board?
Just say how much we appreciate you meeting with us on Tuesday when we visited the site so we could understand the project.
What did he say?
No comment.
Okay, no comment. Okay, any comment? Okay, Olivia?
Staff has reviewed the project. It is complete for your review. We have no concerns.
BMRC?
Looks like another well-designed project.
Okay. Does anyone in the audience wish to speak to this? If that's said, I'll entertain a motion, please.
I'll move to approve as submitted.
Second, please.
I'll second.
All in favor? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Next on the agenda is Ronald Cox. Someone here representing him?
Yes, ma'am. Sherry McDearman with Mac Bros LLC at 388 Scoggins Creek Trail.
Okay, I'll read the ad, please. Ronald Cox and care of Brian McDermott, Mac Brothers LLC, is requesting permission to replace 4 existing jetties, each measuring 48 linear feet for a total of 192 feet of Armorstone on the Rappahannock River, located off Virginia State Highway 695, Windmill Point Road, or Mosquito Point Road, tax map number 35-1-2 and 35-1 and -3. VMRC number 25-0269. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. So we're proposed to replace 4 existing jetties, 4 failing jetties in the same footprint with new Armorstone jetties. The plan is to first break up the concrete, and leave it, removing the rebar and any foreign debris, and then cover with Class 2 Armorstone. Oh, sorry.
Anyone?
Do you have any? Yes, ma'am, I'm finished. Let me know if you have any questions.
Anyone on the board? Have anything? Andy, are you hearing me? Okay. Anyone in the audience? With that, I'll entertain a motion, please.
Move this project be approved as it's presented.
Second?
All in favor? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is the Yankee Point Marina. Someone here representing them?
Sherry McDearman with Mac Bros LLC, 388 Scoggins Creek Trail.
Okay, wait just a minute. Where's my paper? Excuse me just a minute, I misplaced something here. But daggone. I don't see the, can't find my ad that I had. What's that? Gotta be under here someplace. Oh, okay. Okay. Go ahead and, I need to read this and then I'll turn it over to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yankee Point Marina, LLC, in care of Brian McDermott, Knack Brothers, LLC, 388 Scoggins Creek Trail, Hartsfield. They're requesting permission to replace an existing boat ramp with a 16-foot by 85-foot concrete ramp, along with the installation of one dry hydrant along the shoreline of Curritum River, located off Virginia State Highway 604, Ottoman Ferry Road, on Oak Hill Road, tax map number 26-18, VMRC number 24-2369. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. So this project probably looks familiar to y'all because we were here 2 months ago and got it approved. There are a few changes, and that's why we're back. So the changes are that the ramp was 14 foot. They've expanded it to 16 foot, 2 extra feet to allow for larger boats to come in and out. The second thing is they've removed the jetties, which I don't think was your jurisdiction anyway, but just to let you know, they removed the jetties that were on each side of the ramp. And the third thing is now placing a dry hydrant, which will also be available for the, excuse me, for the local fire department. So let me know if you have any questions.
You finished, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, I'm finished.
Olivia?
Yes, ma'am. We received an additional public comment. I originally shared the public comments that came in before your inspection. And since that inspection, we received another public comment, which I've shared with you this morning, from the same person, Mr. Null, and it is an objection. So that's in your packet. He requested information that is actually in VMRC's jurisdiction and not in your jurisdiction. So the objection is noted.
Well, Mr. Knoll is here. You have a few minutes to speak, sir, if you'd like.
Good morning.
Morning.
Ken Null from 135 Idlewood Lane, just a few properties down from the marina. As a nearby property owner and past owner of Yankee Point Sailboat Marina, I must object to the issuance of a permit and the change for the proposed application. I do so on the following grounds. I believe the application to be deficient in that the full dimensions of the proposed major enlargement of the boat ramp from the original 10 by 30 ramp to now 16 by 85 foot ramp are not disclosed. Specifically, it does not indicate the volume of materials that will be introduced to the site, which will potentially affect the flow of Meyer Creek, tide currents. The two-dimensional drawing does not include any mention of the depth of water at the land side of the ramp, at the point 30 feet from the beginning of the old ramp, although Mr. Patterson did, in his remarks to the Wetland Board's first review, admit that the water depth at that point is 8 feet, or at the waterside end of the 85-foot ramp. Additionally, there's no dimension of the depth of the ramp at the mean low water line at the end of the 85-foot ramp.
Mr. Knoll?
Yes.
May I interrupt you, please?
Yes.
I'll remind everyone here that we can only act within our jurisdiction, and that is from the mean low water mark to the mean high water,
Plus
1.5
1.5.
times.
Correct.
Now, as we continue, it's no point in us sitting here listening and covering this information that you're giving, because we can't act upon that. We can only act upon our portion from mean low, excuse me, from mean low to mean high 1.5 times. So now, that's the jurisdiction. If you have a complaint to us, you make, but all the others, they will go to these people here and Army Corps and whatever. I don't have a thing to do with them.
I understand.
They can tell me to get out of the county by nightfall. But the thing of it is, it's no point in taking our time sitting here listening to all of this, because we can't do anything about it.
I understand, but
So for mean low water now, if you wish to speak, mean low water to mean high water, 1.5 times, yes, sir. If you concerned in how depth the water is, how long the ramp is, we cannot give you an answer.
I understand.
That comes with these
I
nice
understand,
people
ma'am.
here.
It's also my understanding that this is my first time to raise an objection to this joint permit application in the process, and that's what I'm doing. I don't expect you to change your opinion from the last time, but I do have a few more comments that I would like to make.
Mean low water to mean high water, 1.5
Which
times.
takes you past the 8-foot mark at that ramp, and that's within your jurisdiction. So I am proper in addressing this. I only have a few more comments, if you could take a few
Okay.
moments. All right. So, as I was saying, let me go back. Consequently, neither the Wetlands Board, nor the Army Corps of Engineers, nor VMRC Board could form an informed opinion of the effects that this ramp could have on surrounding waters, including 1.5 times the difference between mean and high-low water. I submit this information is both critical and readily available, since without it, it would be impossible for the applicant to obtain quotes for this project from the contractors. I request that this information be provided prior to proceeding. All of my previous objections remain in effect. All that said, I want to make it clear that I do not object to the applicant's desire to put in a ramp that is large enough to haul large catamarans. It's, after all, his property, and he should be able to do with it as he likes, as long as it does not affect surrounding properties. It will be a benefit to both the marina and Lancaster County, as there are very few marinas on the bay that can handle these large boats. However, please remember that I owned and operated this marina for 22 years through Hurricane Isabel, etc., and my main objection is the applicant is proposing to put this ramp in the worst possible location on his property in terms of what the probable damage to surrounding waterway and wetland areas. The location is at the turning point of the tidal flow of Meyer Creek, but less than 200 yards to the north of the proposed site is a natural cove with a gradual slope that is out of the current flow entirely. It is adjacent to the mechanic shed and between CDOC and the pier connector to ZDOC. In fact, it was used for years as the site of a marine railway for large boats, and the rails can still be seen when the water conditions are right. Resiting to this location would require significantly less disturbance to the waterway and much less material underwater. It would require some fill on land to smooth the slope of the road and possibly an agreement by the county to allow for boat crossing at the end of Oak Hill Road, or even better, getting this county and the state to cede the last 200 feet of Oak Hill Road to the marina, since it owns the property on both sides of the road. It would be the best location for this ramp. I urge the boards that are reviewing this proposal to not act hastily and to investigate the alternative to the proposed site.
Appreciate your information, but this board cannot advise anyone where to put a project. That's up to the applicant and the contractor, agent, or whatever, all three involved, I'm sure. But this ramp, I really don't see any problem with where it's located.
It's right on the point where the tide goes right past it, so it's going to change the
That's up to-
tides. It's going to change the current.
That's in their jurisdiction. It's below me. You know where I'm coming from.
I
I'm not
understand.
trying to
I
be
understand, ma'am,
disagreeable.
completely.
I'm not trying to be disagreeable with you, but I'm just trying to put it in perspective as to how this board can act, you know. And so once we approve our part, then it goes to BMRC, Army Corps, maybe wherever else, or whomever else. And it's up to them then to decide, yes, you can put it here, or no, you can't put it there. But we can't tell them, and nor can we advise someone how to build something.
I understand.
Am I correct with that, Matt?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, you know, it's real simple. We don't have a dog in that fight 50 feet channelward. We don't.
Understand.
We can't talk to it. We can't legally disapprove it on the grounds you just proposed. But I'd like to hear VMRC's comment.
Understand.
But, I mean, you understand our point from this
I
board.
do,
And
and
our letting you know where we stand as far as approving or denial or
I understand
modifying or whatever.
completely, ma'am. I'm just trying to get on the record, and
I
I'm
know.
hoping that someone will look at the alternative site. I know that property like the back of my hand.
Well, it's like I said, there we go.
Okay.
I'll have to pass the buck.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not finished.
Okay. No, I agree with y'all's statements and everything that, you know, that's just that small portion of the ramp that was in y'all's jurisdiction.
Crystal, are you picking up his voice? Okay. That was low. That's the
Okay.
reason I was-
No, I was just saying that I agree with y'all's statements about jurisdiction and general,
Well, I'm
mostly
just
in our
stating the law
jurisdiction. Yes,
as to
ma'am.
where we can
Right.
stand and how we can act.
Right, yes,
There's
ma'am.
no use standing here
Right,
misleading
right.
someone as
Yes.
what we can't
Right,
do.
yes, ma'am.
But is there anyone in the audience, other than Mr. Knoll, that would like to speak to this?
There's someone online, Madam Chairwoman.
Okay, go ahead,
Good morning, Madam Chairwoman. Todd Patterson, Yankee Point Marina. I'm sorry I'm not able to join you all in person this morning. I appreciate you taking this matter under advisement. Despite Mr. Null's completed or continued assertions that I should move my boat ramp, if he thought the boat ramp should be there, he should have done it in his 22 years of ownership. The boat ramp is making use of the existing contour, and if Mr. Null knows the property like the back of his hand as he claims to, he would know that the gradual slope of that ramp, there's going to be no filling, there's going to be nothing. I understand that's beyond the board's scope, but just want to put that on record as Mr. Null must put things under. I think on the suggestion of a retired firefighter who had been a client of Yankee Point for over 5 years. The addition of a dry hydrant is proposed and meant to
What was the gentleman's name? I must have missed
Mr.
it.
Patterson, that's the owner.
Ma'am?
Todd Patterson is the owner. Mr. Patterson, if you can hear us, you broke up. We heard that you were talking about the dry hydrant. That's the last we heard.
I can assure you, not from a personal view, that ramp is badly needed. Oh, is he on?
Mr. Patterson is back. Would you
Okay.
like him to speak?
Yeah, no, let him go ahead.
Okay. Mr. Patterson, can you hear us? The last thing we heard from you was you were beginning to speak about the dry hydrant, and we lost you.
I apologize for that, everybody. I'm traveling right now. But the dry hydrant was at the suggestion of a 5-year client of Yankee Point who's a retired fireman. And as many people know, there's very little access to water for our fire department. So I'm hoping that this, with the changes to the plan to alleviate Mr. Null's previous concerns, and with the addition of the dry hydrant, there isn't any undue delay in getting this project approved and underway for the benefit of everyone, including Mr. Null, who would see reduced insurance rates and have access to water should his house have an incident. That's all, and I thank the board for their time.
Thank you, Mr. Patterson. Okay, well, what I was gonna say personally off the board of the Wetland Board, as he just stated, that is crucial, because fire, rescue, police, everyone is allowed to launch there. And not only that, that dry hydrant could mean the difference between your life and death for any of us, because that fire truck can fill right there and doesn't have to go to Chin's Mill, which is how many miles up the road would y'all gentlemen say from that marina?
A lot of miles.
A lot of miles, and time is crucial with an emergency. So that's all, that's personal. That don't have to go on this record, it can, I don't care. But, is that all you?
Yes, I appreciate Mr. Patterson telling me how I should have spent my money, but I wasn't interested in a huge
Well, that's
Delta
not,
bill.
that's.
He brought it up,
hey,
ma'am.
That's none of our concerns. That's personal. Olivia, do you have anything?
Madam Chairwoman, I think we need to check one more time if there are any other, anyone else in the audience that wanted to speak.
Oh, yes. Is there anyone else in the audience? Well, step forward, please.
You can.
State your name for the record.
Sherry McDearman with Mac Bros LLC at 388 Scoggins Creek Trail. I spoke earlier. I just wanted to reiterate that we're replacing a defunct, so it's a replacement. So it's going in the same place. It is longer, but that's just what I wanted to say.
Well, these people right here can get you straight on that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Hey, I couldn't begin to.
Thank you. That is all.
Okay, thank you. And you said you have,
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Yes, as the agent stated, it is going back in an existing location, although it will be further seaward. The applicant did attempt to address some of the objections raised previously. They're not keeping the jetties on either side. They'll be there just for installation, and then they're removing those jetties. And then, of course, as you mentioned, the dry fire hydrant is a benefit to the community. And with that, staff recommends approval.
you people.
No further comment. That this is tabled to be heard at our agenda this month, so also for our jurisdictional permit, so.
Everything okay? I mean, y'all doing it? Okay.
Did I just hear, Ken Knoll, did I just hear you say that the VMRC application review is going to be this month?
Yeah.
What day, what time?
I'll give it to you after the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Everything okay? Are we ready to proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, with no further comments then, do I hear a motion?
I'd like to make a comment.
Oh, okay.
For those people who are really concerned, the neighbors at Merrick Creek, I do think the contractor has taken reasonable precautions where he's putting up a vinyl fence to contain the silt during construction.
Anything else? Crystal, you got everything you need? Motion, please.
Move that we approve the project as submitted.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Okay. Thank you. Yes, my paper. Okay. The next on the, is there any further business that we need to,
No, ma'am, no new business.
well, then I guess it's time for approval of minutes. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
Yeah, I'll move to approve the minutes of last month's meeting.
Signify by raising your right hand, please. All right, minutes were approved. Any new business? No?
No, ma'am.
No new business? I'll adjourn this meeting at 10:15, please. It's close to 10, well, 10, what is it?
Yeah,
13?
13,
10:12.
yeah.
10:13. And I failed to do one thing, which I'll do now. I'm sorry I adjourned the meeting before I did this. I failed to recognize one of our alternate members, John Norton. And we do appreciate him. He's a very faithful member. He's with us, he's helpful, he's concerned. So I'd like to know, and yeah, some of them couldn't be here. We got two couldn't be, but they alternates, so. And with that.